Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and today we're gonna discuss about SER y ESTAR, right? Which are the differences. I know a lot of you have a lot of trouble, so in this video I'll explain you in full detail which are the differences, so you can see this video as many times as you need, so you could memorize the differences of these two verbs. So first of all, you guys should already have learned the persons in Spanish. If you haven't yet, for any reason, just please take a look. Remember that in Spain, we have a person that we don't use in Latin America, which is vosotros or vosotras. Either case, we're going to discuss about the differences of these two verbs, which if you speak English, of course, as a native language or as a second language, you would know it's just a verb. It's only one verb. It's just the verb to be. But in Spanish, it's divided in two. Will be ser and estar. Many verbs in Spanish will be divided in two because, as you guys know, Spanish is a really specific language, and we like to be really redundant even sometimes. So the idea with this is to understand that it's divided into two, ser and estar. All right, let's go. So to understand first, we're gonna focus only in yo and we're gonna only focus with the two persons yo and tú. All right. Then later we're gonna discuss about other persons because of course, yeah, it's a little bit easier if we just focus in I and you and I, and like this is like easier because it's normally when we're gonna be discussing with someone will be just one person. Then later you can talk with more people or talk about other people. So let's start with soy or ser that you conjugated with yo. It's soy. So we're gonna use ser or soy every single time you talk about the being. What is talk about the being? What is the being? So in Spanish, we're really, let's say, deep. And when we discuss about being, we're talking about the person's being. Who is this? Who are you as a human being? Although, remember that it can be any other kind of people. It can be a person, can be an object, can be an animal. It doesn't really matter. But remember that this talks about who is this person or what is that thing. So, what things will be fitting in here? Anything that represents you as a person, or anything that talks about you, like adjectives, right? Characteristics about you. Example, yo soy Mark, soy español, soy de España, soy profesor. So you heard here four things about me that are basically characteristics about me that represents me as a person. You guys will hear a lot that ser y estar, the main difference is that ser is something permanent and estar basically is not permanent, that can change. But don't focus only on that because sometimes those things actually can change. Like soy Mark, right? Soy profesor, yes, those are things that technically right now they're permanent, but they might change in the future, right? Example, soy profesor, but maybe tomorrow I'll stop being professor. So there will be cases which things could be a little bit more slightly not permanent, and that may be confusing. So just focus in that ser. It's only talking about the characteristics or adjectives of a person or an object, right? Example, if I have my phone, right? In Spanish, we have teléfono. El teléfono es negro. Why do I say es? First of all, because that's a conjugation for a third object. Because remember, we talk about él, ella, usted is where we're gonna fit objects as well. Es negro because not because it's a fact, it is a fact, but because we're talking about that is black. It's an adjective, and that's what we're talking about, right? You can also practice. My recommendation for this small lesson is take a notebook and talk and just write things about you, characteristics, adjectives about you, who you are. So, soy Mark, soy español, soy de España, soy profesor, soy inteligente. You know, adjectives, things that define you. Like when you were in school and they told you, like, can you define yourself? Can you define or can you describe your friend, your best friend? Stuff like this. Just do it in Spanish and you notice how easy it is to use the verb ser. Then we have estar, that as you can see in here, basically talks about actions, states, feelings, or locations. So basically anything else that doesn't talk about you as a human being, or it doesn't talk about my phone as a phone, right? So it talks about, for example, what is my phone doing? Right? Let's take the phone as an example because sometimes people also forget that we also can use objects because all objects have genders, although we don't use the persons for the objects, right? See, I would never say he is a phone. I only would say is a phone, es un teléfono, right? Because they're not real people, right? Anyway, let's do an example with Joe. All right, I was gonna do an example with the phone, but I think is better with Joe. So yo estoy. So let's start with actions. Actions, remember, they always end with yendo or ando, which in English translates as ing, right? So every single time you see a verb that ends in ando or yendo, that's a continuous present verb. So let's see something. Let's say something really basic. You guys might know, which is hablando, right? We know hablando is speaking or talking. So yo estoy hablando. So then I am speaking. I am talking because it's an action. So every single time you want to say something you're doing, you always say estoy, always in the beginning, or estás, or está, or estamos. The verb estar, always, right? That's how it works. Estoy. So you read a word, it says yendo, ando. It always has to be followed by estoy because I am speaking is an action. I am talking is an action. Estoy hablando. Then we talk about states. When I mean states, I mean physical or mental states. That's why when you the question, ¿Cómo estás? We say estoy bien, right? Which is I am good. That's my state, right? Or feelings, which also come by estoy feliz. I am happy. Estoy triste. I am sad. Because those are, many people will say again, non-permanent, but not really, right? Not only for the reason that they're not permanent, just because they are states. Then we have location, right? So location is really simple. If you are in some place, you would say estoy. So estoy en España, estoy en Barcelona, estoy aquí, I am here, right? Depends, honestly, doesn't really matter which place you are, it's always estoy. So let's say in summary, to define the differences in a basic way, just remember ser, right, is only when we talk about the persons, characteristics, adjectives, what defines the being, what makes me who am I, who I am, my bad. What makes me who I am? So I'm a human, I am a man, I am Mark, I'm a teacher, I'm my brother's friend. Whatever you are, that's ser. And whatever you do, whatever you act, whatever you feel, that will be estar. As simple as that, right? I know there will be some situations which might be a bit complicated to understand it, but only with practice you will get it. That's the idea. Try to practice as much as you can. So I also attach some activities with this video. If you already got the video, I'll send you some activities to practice and do. Let's do, for example, this activity, this small activity with some exercises. Here we have mi bicicleta, right? My bike, bicycle. We say mi, which is my, right? But remember, we say mi. Bicicleta, azul, blue. So here, do we say es or está? So in this case, we say es, right? Why? Because you're talking about the being. I know it is not a being, it's an object, but we're talking about what is it, right? I'm describing it. It's an adjective. It's blue. If I said está, then that will be a state of the bike. So if I say mi bicicleta está azul, like the person who hears this sentence will be thinking like it's a state, the current state. Maybe this bike is one of those that change color with the water, right? The warm or cold water, like the Hot Wheels. So you say mi bicicleta está azul. porque tiene una reacción química por el agua fría, right? Something like this. No, my bike is blue because it has a chemical reaction due to um, the cold water. No. Another one here. Los árboles. Los árboles are the trees, right? Los árboles. You can see them here. And el jardín in the garden. Also, please always remember this is a really important thing that a lot of you guys forget is that the J, it's pronounced like a H, like an H in English, right? You don't say jardín, you say jardín. And if you want to have a real good Spanish accent, this H comes from your throat. Jardín, because this is something that comes from the Arabic. We used to have a lot of Arabic influence, so that's why this jardín sounds a little bit like you're gonna spit, no? Jardín. Anyway, los árboles son or están. Let you guess the seconds. I hope you answer correctly. Well, están. Why están? Easily, because we're talking about location. Where are they? Los árboles están en el jardín. One of the easiest ways to also spot the persons, because here we say árboles, and you might wonder which person will be. Well, think about árboles as the word people. If there are many árboles, they will be they, like ellos. Or if we're talking about, example, gatos, there will be ellos. If you're talking about casas, then it will be ellas, right? Although we don't say the persons. I don't know if you guys notice as well, but in Spanish, we avoid to say the person, yo. We never ever say yo as Spanish speakers because it's redundant. So you would never hear someone saying yo soy Mark if it's a native speaker. Or tú eres Michael, sí, right? You would say it because it's correct, but only if you want to be clear, only if you want to be specific with a certain case. Example like, wait, hold on. Yo soy Mark, not him. Yo. Otherwise, it's not needed. Only needed in the cases of él, ella, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes. And you might wonder why. Well, because it's multiple people. So in this case, we do need to specify who you're talking about. Because if I say está bien is good, I wonder who is good. Unless there is no context, right? Because of course, if we're in a conversation, we're talking about mi gato. I say, está bien. Okay, if he or she is good, it's fine. But if I in a conversation, sorry, in a text, I just say está bien, I understand just like the situation might be fine, not someone, because you're not giving me the person. So only those cases will be the case. So basically, that's the differences between SER y ESTAR. I hope you could understand the differences. If you have any questions, please let me know. Send me a message. Tell me, hey, Mark, this video actually didn't work. I don't understand anything. And I'll do another one again for free so you can understand it. If you understand it, please let me know. You think it's good. If it worked, let me know. Let me know in a comment. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Ciao.